Welcome to the place where every hidden truth comes crashing into the light, where family secrets unravel and raw emotions take center stage. Here, nothing is off. Limits, betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking revelations about those closest to you. This is where the perfect facade breaks, exposing the cracks beneath years of lies. Watch as trust shatters, dreams fall apart, and families are forced to confront the darkest secrets that threaten to tear them apart. But beyond the pain lies a fierce power, the will to rise, to reclaim control, and to rewrite the story. If you're ready to dive deep into the whirlwind of love, deception, and revenge, you're in the right place. Prepare for stories that will grip your heart and never let go. The perfect life never reveals its cracks all at once. It starts as a faint shadow, barely noticeable, like a whisper that something is off. Just a small hesitation in a smile, a slight shift in tone when certain questions are asked. At first, those moments seem insignificant, easily dismissed as stress or a bad day. But the silence between words grows heavier, and what once felt like little white lies begins to unravel into something far darker, far more tangled. Every carefully constructed scene starts to feel like a performance. That charming laugh that once warmed a room suddenly feels rehearsed, almost forced. The way eyes dart away just a bit too quickly when honesty is expected becomes a silent alarm, a warning sign that truth is hiding beneath layers of deceit. Trust, once solid as a rock, begins to feel like fragile glass, thin, breakable, impossible to hold without fear of shattering. In the quiet moments when the house falls still and the world seems paused, the questions come rushing in. Why did a simple phone call turn secretive? Why is the phone always face down now? The explanations are vague, dismissive, too smooth to believe, too shallow to satisfy the growing unease. There is no comfort in the answers, only shadows that grow longer and darker. A perfect marriage, a perfect family, built on promises whispered in love, starts to feel like a fragile illusion. The husband, once trusted without question, now walks through this delicate house like a stranger carrying secrets too heavy to share. Every smile he offers carries the weight of something unsaid. Every touch feels distant, as if the connection that once bound them tight is loosening thread by thread. It's not just about the lies told, it's the lies not told, the omissions that carve out spaces of doubt. A name mentioned in passing, a late night out explained away as work, a sudden change in routine, all pieces of a puzzle that refuse to come together cleanly. The web of deception isn't a single thread, it's a sprawling network, each strand connected to another, growing stronger, trapping truth in its sticky grasp. The heart aches not just because of what's hidden, but because the facade was so carefully maintained for so long. The betrayal is not just a moment of weakness, it is a slow erosion of the foundation, an invisible poison seeping into every corner of the family's life. Each secret kept is a wound left to fester, each lie a crack that deepens under the surface. Yet the desire for answers cannot be silenced. There is a relentless pull to uncover the truth, to tear down the veil and expose what has been hidden in shadows. It becomes a quiet obsession, a fire burning beneath the skin that won't be quenched until every secret is revealed, until the full story is laid bare. And with every new piece of information uncovered, the weight of betrayal becomes heavier. It's a raw, aching pain, the kind that twists in the chest and clouds the mind. But beneath that pain is a fierce determination, not just to understand what was done, but to reclaim power stolen by lies. The family, once a place of safety and love, now feels like a battlefield. The bonds that were supposed to protect are tested by every revelation, every hidden truth pulled into the light. The husband's smiles no longer soothe, they sting. The memories once cherished are tinged with suspicion, the future uncertain and fractured. Still, The search for truth continues because without it, there can be no healing. It is in the breaking of illusions that strength is found, in the exposing of darkness that light begins to seep back in. But first, the shadow must be faced, the cold, painful shadow of betrayal that stretches longer than anyone could have imagined. The moment comes when nothing can be hidden anymore. The cracks spread wide, the web unravels, and the darkest secrets no longer stay buried. The family, shaken to its core, must confront what was once unimaginable. This is not just a story of betrayal. It is the story of raw emotions laid bare, of love tested by fire, of a heart that refuses to be silenced. It is the story of a truth too powerful to be denied. And when the final secret falls away, the house will never feel the same again. The foundation that once felt unshakable, built on whispered promises and shared dreams, begins to crumble the moment the darkest secrets are dragged into the unforgiving light. What was once a future imagined side by side, filled with hope and laughter, twists into something unrecognizable, a nightmare that haunts every waking moment. The dreams that seemed so real, so within reach, scatter like shards of glass, cutting deep into the heart of a family now caught in the chaos of shattered trust. It starts with disbelief. How could the person who vowed loyalty and love hide such devastating truths? The weight of broken promises presses down heavily, suffocating every attempt to breathe freely. Those vows exchanged with so much conviction suddenly feel hollow, meaningless words that were never meant to hold. The betrayal is not just in the secret itself, but in the silence that kept it alive for so long, festering in the shadows while life went on. Every memory once treasured now feels tainted. The quiet evenings shared, the plans made for a lifetime together, all replay with a new, bitter edge. The past is no longer a warm refuge, but a minefield of doubts and questions. How much of it was real? How much was just a carefully crafted illusion to keep the facade intact? The answers sting like poison, burning away the remnants of faith that once held the family close. The husband, once seen as a protector and partner, transforms into the architect of this devastation. His smiles, once reassuring, now seem like masks worn to hide the truth. The man who promised forever has become a stranger, someone whose choices have fractured the very fabric of the family. The pain isn't just about betrayal. It's about the realization that everything believed in, everything hoped for, was built on a lie. The fallout of broken promises spills into every corner of life. Trust, once freely given, becomes guarded and scarce. Conversations are laced with hesitation, every word weighed carefully to avoid further damage. The home, once a sanctuary, now echoes with the silence of things left unsaid and the tension of unresolved pain. It's a delicate balance, holding together what's left while bracing for the inevitable collapse. Raw emotions surge beneath the surface, anger that burns hotter than expected, sorrow that feels endless, and a deep sense of loss that words cannot capture. There is a grief not just for what was lost, but for what will never be. The dreams that once promised happiness are now memories of a life that could have been, slipping further out of reach with every revelation. Yet, amidst the ruin, a fierce resolve begins to grow. The destruction wrought by betrayal ignites a determination not to be defeated by it. The pain fuels a hunger for truth, for justice, for reclaiming a life stolen by lies. This is no longer about holding onto what's broken, but about rising from the wreckage stronger and wiser, ready to face whatever comes next. The family, though scarred, begins to see beyond the wreckage. The nightmare may have shattered dreams, but it also exposes the strength hidden beneath. It is a painful awakening, but one that cannot be ignored. The promises broken are a harsh lesson. a call to rebuild not on illusions, but on truth and resilience. The darkest secrets once buried have forced open wounds, but they have also forced open eyes. The journey forward will be difficult, marked by confrontation and heartbreak, but also by the possibility of healing. The dreams shared by two hearts may have turned to dust, but from those ashes something real can grow, something that no betrayal can destroy. The foundation may be cracked, but it will not collapse completely. Pain arrives without warning, raw and unfiltered, crashing through every thought like a tidal wave that refuses to recede. It isn't neat or tidy. It's a storm raging inside, where anger and confusion collide with grief, each emotion amplifying the other until it's impossible to separate where one ends and the next begins. There is no escape from this tempest. It roars in the silence between words, in the hollow spaces where trust once lived. Every heartbeat seems to echo with betrayal, the wounds opening wide with every memory that surfaces. Anger burns fiercely, not just at the betrayal itself, but at the years wasted on illusions, at every smile that masked a lie, at every promise that dissolved into thin air. It twists and coils, a relentless fire that refuses to be soothed. But beneath the rage is confusion. How could the man who shared dreams, whispered love, and vowed forever hide such darkness? The questions multiply, each one a knife twisting deeper. What was real? What was performed? How many moments were stolen by deception? Grief settles in like a heavy fog, thick and suffocating. It's a grief for what was lost, not just a relationship, but a future once imagined with hope. There is mourning for the innocence that was shattered, for the trust that was broken, for the family that now feels fragile and fractured. It clings tightly, refusing to loosen its grip, making every breath a struggle. In the midst of this emotional chaos, the battlefield becomes visible. Scars run deeper than expected, hidden beneath the surface, but now raw and exposed. Love and hate become inseparable companions, tangled together in the same breath. The affection that once held the family together now fights with bitterness and resentment, creating a turbulent landscape where nothing feels safe or certain. Every interaction carries the weight of these conflicting feelings. Words are laced with accusation and apology, silence filled with regret and anger. The home, once a place of comfort, now feels charged with tension, like a powder keg waiting to ignite. Trust, once freely given, becomes a fragile thread that threatens to snap with the slightest pressure. Amid the storm of emotions, the truth stands unyielding. The husband, once a symbol of love and security, is revealed in shades no one wanted to see, flawed, deceptive, human. His darkest secrets are no longer hidden, and with each revelation, the emotional wounds deepen. The pain is sharp, but so is the clarity it brings. The betrayal is undeniable, a scar etched permanently into the family's history. Yet, even in the darkest moments, there is a flicker of something else, a fierce determination not to be crushed by the weight of these emotions. The storm, as wild and uncontrollable as it is, also cleanses. It strips away false hope and forces confrontation with the harshest realities. It is a brutal but necessary reckoning, a chance to face the truth no matter how painful. The raw emotions that run wild are not signs of weakness, but proof of a heart that refuses to be silent. They are the echoes of love that once was, now transformed by betrayal, but still alive beneath the surface. The journey through this storm is not easy. There are moments of despair and doubt, but also moments of strength and resolve. In the end, the emotional battlefield reveals not just scars, but also resilience. The pain, anger, confusion, and grief, tangled though they are, become part of a story of survival and awakening. It is a story that does not end with brokenness, but with the courage to face what lies ahead, no matter how wild the emotions may run. Some wounds may never fully heal, but the storm will pass, and from its aftermath, a new beginning will emerge. The moment the truth finally crashes down, it's nothing like a quiet whisper, it hits like a thunderclap, shattering any remaining illusion in an instant. The secret, hidden for so long beneath layers of carefully constructed lies, bursts into the open with such force that it sends shockwaves through the entire family. Hearts pound, breaths catch, and everything once thought stable is thrown into chaos. There is no preparation for this kind of revelation, no way to brace for the impact of a betrayal so deep it threatens to tear everyone apart. The room feels charged with a tension so thick it's almost suffocating. Eyes dart nervously, searching for answers, for some explanation that could soften the blow, but none come. The truth stands there raw and undeniable, a wound exposed for all to see. This isn't a story of a single misstep or a moment of weakness. It's a betrayal so profound that it rewrites everything that was ever believed about loyalty, love, and trust. Every whispered doubt, every uneasy glance, every lingering question that was pushed aside comes flooding back with new, devastating clarity. The husband, once the pillar of the family's strength, is unmasked as the architect of this destruction. The secrets he kept hidden behind smiles and reassurances now lay bare, exposing a man who chose deception over honesty, lies over love. The weight of what was uncovered presses heavily on every soul present, threatening to crush what remains of their fragile bonds. The shock doesn't just linger in the air, it seeps into the bones, settling in the silence that follows the revelation. No one knows what to say, how to react, or where to turn. The family, once a haven of shared dreams and comfort, feels suddenly foreign, a battlefield scarred by betrayal. Emotions swirl wildly. Disbelief, anger, grief, and a deep sense of loss intertwine, creating a storm that refuses to settle. There is no denying the truth, no hiding behind excuses or apologies. The secret exposed is a jagged fracture splitting the family apart, leaving everyone to confront realities they never imagined facing. Trust, once freely given, is shattered. Faith in the future is shaken to its core. The foundation that held them together has cracked, and the pieces now lie scattered, fragile and broken. But beneath the raw pain and confusion, a fierce determination begins to take shape. This revelation, as devastating as it is, cannot be the end. It demands reckoning, a confrontation with the lies, a refusal to let darkness remain hidden. The family stands at a precipice, forced to decide whether to let this secret consume them or to find a way to rise above the ruins. The husband's face, once familiar and comforting, is now marked by guilt and regret, but the damage runs far deeper than mere remorse can heal. The betrayal wasn't an accident, it was a choice, repeated and concealed with care. And now, exposed, it challenges every relationship, every memory, every hope once shared. There is no escaping the consequences, no turning back the clock. The truth is a brutal liberator. It strips away pretense, demanding honesty where there was once only deception. It forces painful questions. How long was this hidden? Who else knew? What else was a lie? The answers are painful, but necessary if there is any chance of rebuilding what was lost. The family is left to navigate the wreckage, each member wrestling with their own pain and anger. Some retreat into silence, others demand confrontation. The journey ahead is uncertain and fraught with difficulty, but it is also a path toward healing, a chance to reclaim strength from the wreckage and refuse to be defined by betrayal alone. This moment, explosive and shattering as it is, marks the beginning of a new chapter. The secret once hidden in shadows now lights a fire that cannot be extinguished. It is the reckoning that was long overdue, the unveiling of a truth too powerful to stay buried. Nothing will ever be the same again. The story that unfolds is never just about the pain inflicted. It is about reclaiming the power that was stolen and rewriting the narrative that betrayal tried to dictate. Revenge is not merely an act of retaliation. It is a transformation, a rebirth from the ashes of what was broken. After the devastation and heartbreak, a fierce determination begins to rise, refusing to be crushed beneath the weight of deceit. It becomes a mission, a relentless pursuit of justice and truth, no matter the cost or the sacrifices demanded along the way. The journey toward reckoning begins not with fury alone, but with a clarity born from suffering. The betrayals revealed have stripped away any illusions, laying bare the raw and painful reality. But in that rawness, there is also power to confront, to expose, and to take control of a story that once seemed lost to lies and silence. It is the moment when silence is broken, when the walls built by falsehoods come crashing down, and a new path emerges through the rubble. Each step forward is fueled by a burning resolve to face what was hidden, to demand accountability, and to ensure that the truth cannot be buried again. The husband, whose secrets shattered the family, can no longer hide behind charm or empty promises. His actions have consequences now, consequences that will ripple through every aspect of the life once shared. The family, fractured but not defeated, begins to gather strength in this reckoning. Revenge is not just about pain returned, but about justice claimed, a chance to right the wrongs inflicted and to rebuild from the ruins with new purpose. It is a declaration that the betrayal will not define what comes next. The heartache and raw emotions, though still present, become the fuel for transformation, igniting a fire that refuses to be extinguished. This is the moment where survival becomes revolution, and healing starts with standing firm against the past. The scars left by betrayal serve as reminders, not shackles. They are proof of battles fought and lessons learned. The family's story, once threatened by lies and hidden betrayals, is now being rewritten with resilience and courage. The journey is far from easy. There are moments of doubt, of overwhelming grief, and of anger that threatens to consume. But with every challenge faced, the resolve only grows stronger. This journey is deeply personal and yet universal. It speaks to anyone who has had their trust shattered and their world upended. It is about refusing to be a victim of circumstances, choosing instead to rise, to fight, and to reclaim what was lost. It's about transforming pain into power and heartbreak into a catalyst for change. The path toward revenge is also a path toward self-discovery, uncovering strength that was hidden beneath the weight of betrayal, finding voice where there was once silence, and reclaiming identity in the face of destruction. It is a journey that tests limits but also reveals depths of courage and endurance previously unknown. No matter how dark the road, the destination is clear: justice, truth, and the reclamation of dignity. The family, though battered, is not broken. Each revelation, each confrontation, each moment of raw emotion propels the story forward toward a reckoning that cannot be ignored or avoided. In the end, revenge is more than just an act. It is the transformation from shattered to unbreakable, from silenced to heard, from powerless to empowered. The cost may be high, but the price of silence and surrender is far greater. This is the moment where everything changes. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to join us on this journey through heartbreak, truth, and justice. Don't miss the next chapter. Every twist will keep you on the edge. Share your thoughts below. Your voice matters here. Until next time, stay strong and keep seeking the truth.